go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Masters Fantasy Football Podcast, presented by MastersFantasyFootballLeagues.com, the premier destination for Dynasty Fantasy Football, Redraft Fantasy Football, just about any fantasy football there is. We are the premier destination for it. So come be a part of the Masters family. But today, we've got another episode of our weekly, waiver wire show. We're going with running backs in this episode. We just knocked out quarterbacks. And as I said in that episode, I'll say it again in this one. There are a lot of running backs that are still out there that we've already covered in the past, and those takes may still be viable. So feel free to go back, watch those videos. A lot of good information in those. Probably some running backs we've talked about that are still out there. So, Al, running backs this week, who are you looking at on the waiver wire that you want to pick up and toss into your lineup?
Sure. So I'm going to go a little deeper with this one. As you mentioned, we've already talked about a lot of running backs really on previous shows, and most of those guys still probably are, realistic waiver wire pickups. But I'm going to go deep with this one. Browns running back Demetric Felton. So for some of you Dynasty gamers out there, you know all about Demetric Felton coming out of UCLA, running back and a receiver, little hybrid guy. He's made a little bit of noise as a rookie. I mean, not a ton of opportunities, but so for some of you redraft players, you might not be familiar with Demetric Felton at all. But so long story short, if you're, the Browns running back situation, obviously the best two-headed monster in football when healthy, but Nick Chubb goes down, misses this week. So Demetric Felton's name was kind of getting thrown out there as a possible waiver wire guy for last week, but most of you stayed away from him, and rightfully so. And really, it wasn't until Kareem Hunt went down that I actually thought, this is Demetric Felton's chance for a role. Because like I mentioned, he's a small guy. He's a running back wide receiver hybrid, where Chubb's always been the between the tackle grinder. Kareem Hunt's always been kind of who the Browns bring in those passing situations. So we know Chubb still may be out, but even if Chubb comes back, and I kind of, even for Demetric Felton's sake, hope Chubb comes back, because I think Felton's kind of the nice little number two complement to him with Kareem out. And we expect Kareem to be out for quite some time. I'm sure he'll go on the short-term IR. My guess is he misses most of the regular season. It did not look good coming off the field.
Wow. Okay.
Sunday in Cleveland. I thought it looked pretty rough. My first thought was an Achilles tear, but it sounds like it's just calf, not Achilles.
Yeah.
So Calf's, I think
it can be tricky though. So I'm worried about him.
Yes, several weeks is kind of the initial timeline. They're saying I'm gonna guess it'd be 5 to 7, something like that. So I think that's a nice door for Demetric Felton, like I said, and I think Chubb coming back actually helps him. I think he kind of slides into that Kareem Hunt role a little bit in Cleveland. Get used a ton in the passing game, hopefully some carries too. I think he's really only been used in the passing game so far, but I think that's likely to change. So yeah, Demetric Felton, that's kind of my deep dive waiver wire pickup this week.
I like it. I'm going to go with actually another Browns running back. No homers here. Don't get it twisted. We're not being homers here, I promise. DeAndre Johnson, though, is who I'm going to go with. As Alec mentioned, Kareem Hunt out for the foreseeable future, and Nick Chubb hurt too. Maybe he plays this week, but if I had to guess, I would say probably not, and that's why I want DeAndre Johnson this week. Actually, that's a good reason to pick up both of them, especially this week. Short week against a Broncos defense that has struggled a little bit lately for lack of it's really I'm not beating around the bush at all. They've been pretty bad lately. Both Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake had touchdowns yesterday. I can see a lot of success coming for the Browns running backs, even without Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. There's some indications that the tackles, Jedrick Wills and Jack Conklin, might be back as well. So if that happens, DeAndre Johnson has a healthy offensive line that's one of the best in the NFL. And not to mention, when we saw him last year when Nick Chubb got hurt, he was able to run for 90-plus yards against the Cowboys. And, he just overall looked really good. I think he's a guy that can honestly win you a league this week, just this week. But I think he can win you your matchup. He's that good. And I think he's got a nice little matchup too. He's definitely a free agent, even with all the rumblings of Chubb being hurt. So go pick him up, toss him into your lineup. it's a no-brainer. Dearness Johnson's the man to get this week.
Yeah, I like it. I've got 2 little bonus names to throw out there.
Absolutely.
One of them, I'm throwing it out for the 3rd week in a row. You already know, just in case Marlon Mack gets traded. Pick him up and hold him until the NFL trade deadline. Another name recently circling around trade rumors is a guy I've never been a huge fan of, but Ronald Jones. Teams are doing their due diligence on a Ronald Jones trade. Obviously, Leonard Fournette kind of taken over as he should in Tampa. But, if all of a sudden, if a team goes out and trades for Ronald Jones, I don't hate it. If the landing spot's all right, I don't hate it. So those are the kind of guys, like I said, you just have to hold them to the NFL trade deadline, which is just a couple weeks away at this point. So, if they don't if Marlon Mack or Ronald Jones don't get traded in the next couple weeks, then you drop them. But you might as well just hold them for a week or two, just in case.
Yep, I love that. I've had Marlon Mack on my bench, and I think every redraft team I have, he's on my roster right now, just taking up space. So hopefully he does get moved. But if not, he's gonzo almost instantly. So all right, excellent stuff, Al, as per usual. I think I forgot to say, but we've been Alec and Ryan. You guys know us. I didn't introduce us, but there you go. We introduced ourselves after the show, doing things a little bit backwards. You blame it on the commish. He's not here. He's out sick. So he's left me in charge. And that has clearly been, our fearless leader is out sick, and I'm stuck having to do this. And I'm lost out here. So that's all we've got on running backs. Like I said, feel free to head back into those old videos, check them out to see who else we've been saying you can pick up. Again, plenty of those guys still free agents, still worthy of being picked up. And anything you want to add, Al?
All I got. Thanks for listening, guys.
All right. We'll see you next week, fellas.